Greetings, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the SIC Cast, aka the Siblings and Cardboard podcast. I'm your host, Thomas, or Wet the System, joined by my buddies slash co-hosts, Noah and Donnie. And whether you're a veteran card gamer or a first timer just testing the waters, we're all siblings in cardboard. Flesh and Blood is a game about getting together and having fun with card games. How's everyone been since the last time we talked?
Generally okay, but work this week has really been kicking my butt up and down the street, man. My boss has been on my back for days. About a year ago, there was a flood in my office. Like, it completely destroyed most of the office, and we had to get shifted into another department to, work. It's taken a year to get everything repaired. Today, we finally got moved back into a decent office space for ourselves.
Like rain or a water main break?
A sewer line break in the ceiling.
The worst kind of flood.
Wow, that's not something you want.
Fortunately, nobody was in the office at the time, but it was kind of ugly. It's definitely kind of ugly. What about you, Noah? How's your week been?
It's been pretty good. I can't complain. Work's been okay for the limited amount of client time I've had. Just a couple of things that I'm nitpicking about, but all in all, it's been great. I've just been playing a lot of hardcore World of Warcraft and some Talishar here and there, some Katsu, soaking up some content.
And I know I always said I swore off after like 2008. I swore off World of Warcraft. I'd never play again, but I've been playing some hardcore World of Warcraft too. The game when it's in hardcore is a lot more fun, and I know eventually I'll get a high level character. They'll die gloriously, and then I'll uninstall the game. And that'll be it. I'll never have a problem with the addiction because the character's just gonna be dead. Like, it'll be deleted and gone. Like, one more run. The character's just dead.
That's what I'm waiting for. I haven't hit a very high level yet where I've had that like sense of tangibility, but as soon as it hits, it's the only one that's going to exist.
And as far as Flesh and Blood this week, the only thing I got into was I got to go to I went Friday to play an armory, but I think because of Dragon Con and fatigue, almost all the Georgia people went to Las Vegas, right? So between Dragon Con, fatigue, and a lot of them got sick too. I luckily somehow did not get sick. I usually always get sick. But instead of being able to play Friday, I just bought 2 packs with my entry fee and pulled the Warrior Legendary Arm Piece and a Starstruck. It was cool. And then we did get to go down and play Armory on Sunday, and I finally almost won an Armory with Levia. It was down to like the last turn, and I was playing against Austin Mender on Lexi. He's a great player. Playing against Austin Mender on Lexi, and it's down to the last turns. I'm consume flipped and everything. I got to do the Guardian of the Shadow Realm out of the consume pile. Huge value going in, and I have it. I've got it. And I even have a Reckless Swing in my arsenal for the stupid 4 damage arrow that's going to come through to get an extra 2 damage and all that stuff. And then he comes through, and he's like, this is the only way I'm going to win. I have to hit something off this Codex of Inertia. He plays Codex of Inertia, and what do you think flips off the top?
Infecting Shot?
Arctic Incarceration. He puts Arctic Incarceration into his arsenal, taps Lexi, turns it up, gives me a Frostbite, and says, how would you like 3 more Frostbites? Enjoy your turn. And then I just couldn't get the kill before he got enough to whittle me down and finish me off. I was so close. Arctic Incarceration, man. Okay.
That is a legal Flesh and Blood card, yes.
I love playing against ice. I really do. But if one card I'll be happy is gone when ice is out of the meta is Arctic Incarceration. All the other ice cards are fun to play around. There's nothing fun about one card giving you 4 frostbites. It's so frustrating.
I mean, 3 frostbites for 1 card is insane, but with Lexi's flip making it 4, it's
I would have won.
Kind of really good. With a low cost curve, it is backbreaking.
I would have won if it was 3. 3 was fine. I could have still swung for 12. But once he hit me with 4, I can only swing for 6, and then he gets to keep 2 cards.
I mean, the extra one really makes it or breaks it there.
It was rough.
Because you can't pay for it cleanly with a blue. I mean, if you had an extra blue, Oh well, what else you got?
You can't even tunic it either unless just cause cost of stuff.
Somehow me and
can't
Noah
tunic it.
didn't
No,
play
so
each other.
you literally can't tunic. Yeah.
We didn't play each other. So Noah,
No,
how'd
we
you do
didn't.
it? How'd you do it, Armory?
I lost the first round to Dromai, which is pretty typical for me.
Playing
Dorinthia, per usual. I hadn't changed the list anything since US Nats. I hadn't really worried about too much. I was just kind of there to buy cards and trade shiny stuff, which I did, and I won in other facets.
Did you have another God box?
No, not really a God box. The Dust Till Dawn box I actually ended up opening had double gold foil legendary, or double legendary in it, whatever. But none of them were like really good, so it was more like, oh, that's cool.
The DTT legendaries don't pay for the box. You gotta hit
I got a bunch of northern, like, it was bad in Majestics, but anyway, Doromai, it's a close game. I didn't feel too bad about it. There was a couple of plays where I realized it was a bad idea. Another case of I really didn't like Valiant Dynamo, and I did, and just lack of really good go again. I did come to a conclusion about the deck though, which is great. So I felt like there was still obviously a learning process. So I enjoyed losing, didn't matter. Then I got the bye, which is kind of frustrating, but then I just sat there and listened to music and literally I botched stuff, so it was like a really good buy. Which forced me to clean out all my bulk cards, which is great.
I threw up
on eBay. So I got up one of those big 10,000 card, whatever, 5-row boxes, and I shoved it on eBay and I said, Merry Christmas. So it's got a whole bunch of goodies in it that I'm not going to sort through. Because I'm lazy. So that's the way we get rid of it. And then I played Brandon, a good friend of ours, on Lexi, and I demolished him. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Wow.
And I don't say that because like he did anything wrong. It was just high roll. It was just out of control high roll. I started off with a domination glistening turn, put 2 and overpower redded over it, secured a counter. Then he tried to stuff me the next couple turns with 9 block hands, and I literally just promptly crushed over it and like countered up, was at 4 or 5 counters, and just took the whole thing. I had zero respect for anything.
So you're saying he didn't get the Arctic Incarceration?
No, he didn't see anything. That's the problem with Lexi, right? You have this weird variance sometimes where you just kind of don't. You either see too many of your power cards and your hand's all really stuffed up and weird, or you see not enough and you just don't have any way of and he didn't. He very well lays out the game plan. I've played against him a million times. He plays it superbly. I mean, like, I know exactly how we're supposed to play it, how it's supposed to go. He just didn't see any of the cards. Yeah. So it was just an all-me matchup.
And you applied pressure too, meaning if they do get the hands and they don't get to keep them because they've got so much pressure.
Like it's really like Lexi needs the life lead as much as I need the life lead in an aggro v aggro matchup. That life is the most important resource, you might say, sometimes, because it's how you disrespect the breakpoints later on, especially on the Dorinthia side of things. But we played a fun game of Azalea after that, and I high rolled him too. So it just wasn't a really good range.
Azalea seems like it'd actually be good against Story too, because they can't get an effective go again turn, and then you could literally just throw your entire hand to reset them after.
It was high roll like you couldn't believe. I mean, like I said, it was literally just high roll.
I'm glad I didn't play you. You were high rolling everybody.
It was a 2-1 finish. It was fine.
The Dromai you beat, I immediately high rolled him. I think I got to throw. I think I threw a 28 damage Blood Rush Bellow turn at him.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those kind of turns.
Dromai is definitely one of my weaker matchups, but
I rolled at least. I think I rolled 2 6s on Scabs because I was just like, because I run Gamblers for Lexi, because you need a high roll to beat. I'm like, I might as well throw Gamblers on Dromai because I could either high roll to Dromai or I can use it to recover from like a really wide Mirror Guy passing Mirage by getting some extraction points.
I was gonna say I don't think that's even a bad thing. I like that. It's a good risk reward against Dromai.
So I was just like claw, get an extraction point, 8. And he's just like, I guess that's what you do. And then I kind of did it again the next turn. Okay.
Hold on. I gotta talk about my armory.
Oh wait, did you go do armory? Did you go to
Friday? I had a doctor's appointment that I had to take my wife to, but so I didn't get to play on Friday. But last night was the Tuesday night armory in Johns Creek.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try to come next week.
5 of us that showed up, but I lost round 1 to Chris, who was playing Dory. You guys know he's another former Dory main. He's kind of played off in some Guardians and some other things here and there, but I think Dory is still, the love of his heart,
He's
right?
got like 4 decks that he brings occasionally. I think I've seen him play Vincent.
Dawnblade. I decided to play Katsu last night just for the lulz, and I ended up playing Dory in round 1, which was a loss, and then I played Justin, our local Guardian stan. Man has played nothing but Guardian forever, right? Playing, take a guess what he was playing.
Wait, which Justin? Justin Evans?
Mm-hmm.
He was playing.
He's on Icelander.
Yeah. Okay, so
no, he wasn't on. So he switched off since Nats. Oh.
Is he on? He's on Vincent.
Fly.
No. Justin was playing Dromai.
Oh no.
Yes.
Yes. He was playing an illusionist. Man is absolutely allergic to illusionists, or that's what he's always claimed.
He's joined the
cult. He was playing Dromai. He was trying it out. He said he saw some cool tech and he just had to give it a shot. And it was actually pretty cool because he played Time Skippers as his foot piece and he went first. And he got 3 Ash right off the rip.
That's what I've been seeing. I've been playing I've been playing some games with Talishar, yep.
The full pitch in Time Skippers is really strong.
Unfortunately, he is not an experienced Dromai pilot, obviously, and I am a pretty well-practiced Katsu. So the match didn't go very well for him. Round 3, I played against one of the new players in the area, and it was another Dromai, and the same thing. Katsu just ate the dragons alive. After the Armory, though, I went 2-1. Jose ended up winning on Fi last night.
Nice.
Congrats to Jose.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, that's the second Armory that I've seen him win in the last few that I've been to. But after the fact, I got to play my very first game of UPF. That was fun. I played Katsu because I didn't want to have to switch all of my Vincent stuff over, and I played Vincent in the UPF game.
That seems quite good, actually.
It was really good because I thought about it before the game, and Dimensional Gateway. That card is so good in UPF because it hits everybody. Yeah. Oh my god! There is going to be after the game. I have been back to the list and tweaking some things out, and I'm coming next time. I'm coming with a full-on group slug Vincent. There's going to be exactly 1 attack action card in the deck. It's gonna be spicy. There was 5 of us in the Armory, and 5 of us stayed afterwards to play UPF. The last 2 ended up being me and Justin, and I died to blood debt. It's a Vincent thing. You die to blood debt sometimes, especially when you're in the last.
Were you running
3 to 4 health against a Bravo?
Ooh, that's
It happens.
You're in some tight windows there too, and
were you running Husk? So it's just like life boost. Okay, I was just wondering.
No.
It's
always
Husk isn't even
always dyadic.
Yeah, it's Carapace.
However, I mispronounced.
I'm considering doing the Tunic with Vincent. I've had some success with that as well, but Carapace just felt like the right call since there were 2 Bravos in the pod. 2 Bravos, a Kasai, and a Bolton. I was sitting next to a Bravo and a Bolton. So I figured I was going to need the armor more than I was going to need that Tunic resource.
You only have 3 weeks until you get your Bard.
I know. Melody, I am 100% going to be a Melody main when it comes to UPF. Every single one of those songs looks so cool, man.
And for those of you who don't know, that's because on the same weekend that Bright Lights comes out, there will be a new product called Round the Table. It is a product with 4 blitz decks that are engineered for Ultimate Pit Fight. It's their multiplayer mode. Okay, so that was what we did this week. The past weekend was Battle Hardened Columbus. I think there was some unsurprising and surprising results at the same time. Firstly, Brody Spurlock took the win on Lexi.
Who's that?
I don't know. He's only the highest experience player in the world by a large amount. I think so. Still,
is he really?
Probably.
Like lifetime?
At least.
Oh no. I think
not
it's
lifetime. At least
I think it's 90
day, probably.
But
90 days for sure.
But he is the resident traveler. He goes everywhere. and it's always a pleasure to speak to him and meet him.
He is a great player.
Kid is amazing to talk.
He is just so delightful. It is such a pleasure.
XP lifetime. No, Kevin. He's third though.
Oh, third
Kevin Law and Eugene C of Hong Kong nationality. Kelvin, sorry, mispronounced his name. Kelvin Law and Eugene C have the highest experience lifetime, but Brody is catching up. But his 90-day is still like 70 points above second, and there's been times where I've seen him be like 100 or 200 points. This guy lives and breathes flesh and blood.
I mean, when you're that good at it and you're positive on just about every event you play in, why wouldn't you live and breathe it?
And you have like this like family support structure that allows you to almost treat it like a solo sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his mom is also delightful, by the way.
That's the unsurprising part about it. If you see Brody show up with Lexi, there's a great chance that he's going to make top 8, and if he makes top 8, there's a great chance he's going, because he's not going to get wrecked by some weird rogue deck. The surprising part is that second place was Katsu, and second place was Jake Smith on Katsu. Third, fourth was Michael Fang and Nicholas Steele on Lexi. 5th through 8th was Andrew Weber, Brian Kelly, Matt Muss, and Ashley Briggs. So Andrew and Matt were surprisingly on Phi. The other two were on Lexi. That means there were 5 Lexis and 3 Ninjas. That was Battle Hardened Columbus's top 8. I think that's really weird.
How many Icelanders did they have?
I don't know. I would have to check the meta.
We'd have to check the actual page, because I didn't look at it when I was preparing everything for the notes. Honestly, work has been so rough the last couple of days. I just hit the highlights. Brody won with Lexi, and then the PTI event winner and everything. But yeah, I didn't even know that there were this many ninjas in the top 8. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have already been talking about that.
I'm just saying that because if Lexi's figured out the matchup, right? Like if Inertia was just that like easy of a, I'm not saying easy of a win, but if it was a well enough fix that most of Lexi's are able to beat the Icelanders. But I just want to know how many there were potentially. If there wasn't that many to dodge, that's what I'm saying, then the top 8 isn't super duper surprising. I mean,
well, doesn't a fatigue briar kind of chew up?
Well, I mean, there might not have been one.
That's true. Briars, but I'm surprised. It's another United States-based tournament. I would have thought that the success of Briar would have gotten at least one player in there on Fatigue Briar.
But that is a very hard deck to pilot at 100% efficiency. We touched on that last week. I mean, Charles Dunn's win was well-deserved and well-earned. I mean, you have to be really, really good with that style of deck in order to get the kind of result that he did.
I mean, he used cards like, Raging Onslaught. We're talking the 7 for 3, and like for a very good reason too, right? I mean, one, it's 7, which there's a whole level of math and depth that he put into beating the premier deck that he probably had a whole bunch of best and worst case scenarios and piloted it perfectly. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. You'd be seeing a more traditional Briar that's basically on a peaks and valleys than you'd be seeing some kind of a consistent try and fatigue at the other battle harms. I'm not saying people won't do it. It's not widely popular enough, and it's also hard.
So
I don't see it picking up popularity like that.
The Katsu looks like it was the typical combo. It wasn't some weird offshoot fatigue Katsu.
Just bronze Katsu.
Yep. He runs 3 red, 1 yellow. It has like the dishonor package and 6 surging strikes, so it's kind of like what we expect. There are some like tech choices in here. I see he's got the war dips, Warmonger's Diplomacy. He's got some of the fatigue options, so if he's playing against a matchup that could fatigue him, he's got to visit the floating dojo and Magenshi release stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
The Phi's deck lists are completely different. So one of them is like very heavily in with the like brand of Cinderclaw.
Mm-hmm.
They're running 8, and then another one's only running like 5. Yeah, one of the ones is running 8 brand of Cinderclaws.
Okay. Kadachi
and
Fi? It has to be Kadachi Fi.
it is Kadachi Fi, right? And
Okay.
that's to turn your Kadachis into Draconics, right? To build that chain up. And then the
Yep.
other Fi is Searing Emberblade Fi. He does run one harmonized Kadachi in his list to pair with Arcane Lantern, I guess.
Ah, okay. So you can run AB1
Yeah, for Rune
or
Blades.
AB2. So that's probably Tide Flippers and Lantern.
Yes. I
Okay.
guess that maybe is so you don't just auto lose to Icelander.
Yeah.
Very interesting though that two Fis with very different deck lists made it to top 8. And I think we've got some distance from a Fi meta that people are like kind of starting to forget like what kind of outputs he could do.
It's been a while since Fi was really relevant, and that's mostly because of Lexi. And we were talking earlier about Arctic Incarceration, and that is a very brutal card against Fi. The Frostbite is not friendly to ninjas.
So, and neither of the Fis made it to top 4. So they both lost to they probably faced off against a Lexi.
Right.
Because top 4 was Lexi, Katsu.
Well, I mean, it could just be a Lexi with a well-made ice package. I mean, I know most Lexis are playing some sort of an ice package, but I know you've got Michael Fang and Brody in that top 8 who are probably running a very precise ice package for a very good reason, right? So if you get lucky in the lower rounds and you kind of race through a couple of not so heavy ice disruption Lexis, you're gonna feel all right.
Yeah, Brody was basically running a non-ice. He does have the 3 Arctic Incarcerations. He's got 4 Winter's Bite, but he's not running the Ice Quaker. Let's see, Michael Fang was running only Arctic Incarcerate. No, he's got Winter's Bites. So he's got 3 Winter's Bites. So these are like Ice Light. They don't have some of the other ice cards. It's just the really high value ones that completely wreck your turn. Winter's Bite says I could pitch for blue, but I could also like steal a card out of someone's hand.
I mean, that's all you really need in a pivot, in a pivotal moment against
a hell of a pivot card
against decks like that. But I mean, the fact that they're in the top 8 isn't super surprising. I think it's going to be the natural meta change once Ice and Lexi leave.
So Michael Fang picked up 3rd, 4th on Battlehard, and then immediately went to win the PTI the next. So he had a really successful week. Dude, how is he? That's what blows my mind. Is like better players draw better, but like,
yeah,
that's the thing we say, right? But some of these players are so consistent, like you could tell it's not luck.
Well, no, it's repetitions, right? It's repetitions and I mean, it's a game of numbers and values, right? Like there's a value game that can be played in any Flesh and Blood card that you're going to look at or play. There's a value scale, and then there's varying scales of numbers. I mean, like if you get really good at it and really consistent, I mean, there's a consistency to it. There's going to be variance, right? But there's definitely consistency, and it shows.
All right. So now Nationals updates. The only thing I really know about Nats is that Levi almost took the Irish Nationals, which was really cool. He got 2nd place. He said the finals wasn't even close. Like it was one of those things. Yeah, he dropped the Lexi to like below 6 life, but it was one of those things where Lexi's like, "I'm gonna let you hit me because I'm about to kill you." That kind of thing. Gotcha. You know how it feels. Like you look at the score, it's like 2-0, and you're like, the game looks close, but it was not close. Like
no, it was all. It's one of those calculated. Like
yeah,
it's okay.
There's nothing you could have done to kill me. I was dropping the 2 just so I could throw an entire 5 or 6 card hand out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
he said it was that. He played really like older list. He played the Battle Hardened Cincinnati list, which has a lot of like scabs rolling in it, and I guess it worked out for him. He said he didn't even roll scabs that many times, but he's like running the Savage Feast and stuff that kind of demand those extra action points. But he did really well. He basically used the list straight from Mansense channel. So it's pretty cool that like a list that may not even been optimal, or maybe it was and we just bypassed it, with a little bit of luck and some just reps, you can kind of get there. Actually, I don't even think he had that many reps on it. I think he just, like a madman, decided he wanted to play Levia, and it turned out pretty good.
Hashtag brute life.
The weirdest thing is his all of his classic constructed rounds were one character. Who do you think he faced off against?
Probably Lexi every round, if I had to guess.
It was Dorinthia. All 3 rounds. He played 6. He played 6 rounds. It was a smaller nationals. 3 rounds classic constructed, 3 rounds draft, and all 3 rounds were Dorinthia.
That's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's really weird. Really, really, really weird. He went X2 and got in on a tiebreaker, and then managed to make it to the finals, which is great because that means
awesome.
That means if he sticks on Levia, he's got a Worlds invite for top 2.
Yeah, that'll work.
What else was there? Are there any other notable nationals?
There was a. See, I know a Kano. How many Kanos won? It's been like at least 1 or 2, right?
I mean, Kano has been picking up some points.
Yeah, Kano definitely picked up some points. 40 or so, I thought.
He's got 52 points this season, which means he picked up a major nationals and a PTI, right?
Yes.
So, because I think the major ones get 50
from Vishra. Let's see here.
Well, actually, no. So he won a major national, a minor national, and a PTI.
He won in Kano won in Philippines as well.
That might be the major one. So if you're above 96 players, it's 40 points. If you're below 96 players, it's only 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 points is from a PTI that happened at the same time as, which I know there's a couple of those. No, I don't know. The nationals don't necessarily have PTIs with them. No, I wonder what those 2 points are.
PTI in Las Vegas, apparently, according to the spreadsheet.
Oh, really?
From @Vishra TCG. Thank you very much for this, by the way. This data is phenomenal. Gives a lot of creators a lot to talk about. You are really doing great work. Thank
he
you,
won Poland.
Vishra TCG.
Poland was above 96
He did win
players.
Poland, yeah.
So that's pretty surprising.
Poland, Philippines, and then
Dorinthia picked it up in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Bolton picked it up in Slovenia. There are a couple like surprising wins here. A Reinar picked it up in Finland.
The Dorinthia was a full axe build, by the way, too.
Really?
We got to talk about Reinar too here in a minute.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys?
Do we want to jump into spoiler season? Let's finish the little bit of discussion.
Around, but that's something that came up today.
We've got one more weekend of nationals, and that means we have about 250 points, living legend points, left to distribute across several heroes, which means with Lexi being at 756, it is impossible unless she just wins literally everything.
Unless she just
weekend.
Clean sweeps everything for the rest of Nats. She is not going to LL before PQ season, and neither is Icelander, so any hopes of the Ice Queens leaving before Worlds is pretty much gone.
Yeah, because PQ season's going to be like probably evenly split between CC and draft, so there's not going to be a lot of points to pick up in ProQuest, right? ProQuest only gives 2 points per win. Yeah, so it's unless they get really close, it's not happening.
I was going to say, Lexi would have to pick up a very big amount of points. Very, very large amount of points.
Well, even if you pick up enough points, there's not going to be another ban list after the one that we're expecting sometime in September. So after PQ season, there's not going to be another list coming out before Worlds.
Oh, that's true.
Even if they get the points during PQ season, they're legal at Worlds.
Worlds is probably going to continue to be a Lexi meta unless Bright Lights really shakes things.
For sure. It could. Don't know if it's going to. But
no, I think it's natural though, right? Just let everything go to Worlds the way it is. I don't think Lexi's super oppressive. I think it's great. I mean, it's definitely a beatable deck. So I think let the best Icelanders, the best Lexis, the best everything, right? Let them battle it out. See what deck can seal the deal. Whichever one wins Worlds of those 2 power horses will be gone probably from that win though.
To be fair, she has won about half of the points, right? Maybe a little less than half. 356
I actually crunched the numbers.
Yeah, it's 35% of the points is how much she's won. About 35.5 so far.
So far, I'm just saying of the points that have been won, not the total points that are going to be across the whole season. She's about half, or maybe
35% of all of the national wins so far have been Lexi.
Okay, so 35%. I would say that's getting close to problematic, but it's fine. We want strong heroes. We want decks to fight against. Metas are usually more fun when you can target, and if a meta is like even across all decks, targeting is much more difficult, and it feels like your first rounds feel like really random when you get in there.
Yeah, I mean, much fun as it is to literally play any hero at any given time during an event, it is very hard to win against every hero in the meta when there's like 20 of them that you have to worry about. TCG really does need that, triangle, that top 3, maybe 4 heroes that the meta can kind of shape itself around.
So everyone likes a bad guy.
Well, I mean, it's natural too, right? It's usually, I mean, once Lexi and Icelander leave, it's going to be this breeding ground, and then other heroes are obviously going to come out, and it's just going to be a really nice, fun mishmash until you get the top emerging decks and what could beat the top emerging decks. I mean, it's just like with any card game. It's just natural progression. I think it's fine. Nothing feels too powerful. I mean, old him is gone, and we'll have a fun, faster meta coming soon, and it'll be interesting to see what comes of it.
I think the next notable thing that happened was the Japanese Nationals.
Oh yeah,
was huge.
Yeah, for a brand new country that was just introduced. I don't know if it's just introduced to the game, but the game just officially started being supported there. They had 80 players at their nationals. That's huge. That's huge right out the gate, right?
Yeah, that's quite a lot. I mean, for a game that just kind of plants itself, and especially because there's other games too, right? Like long-rooted game. I mean, there's other options. Let's be real. And so
they have a lot of card games.
Right.
Alexi did take that one. Alexi did take the Japanese now, which isn't surprising. I think it's exciting though, because maybe this is good signs that we're going to get some larger event in Japan. And Japan would be a fun place for me to visit and have a purpose to visit.
Right.
What
were you saying, Noah?
I was going to say, I think she'll comfortably get up 900 points by the end of national season. I think Lexi
for sure.
Comfortably above 900. If not, maybe doing some weird squeaking at 950, 960. Do you know what I mean? She'll slip a few here and there.
Yeah, the odds of both of the ice heroes leaving the meta during PQ season is very high.
Yeah.
But
I think Worlds is going to have us salute and send off an ice hero. I think one of the ice heroes is going to win Worlds.
Yeah. If not, maybe there will be one of those tier 3 events in Japan, and we'll all have an excuse to go and watch it happen.
I think it's pretty clear that they want Japan to be successful. They've got a dedicated publisher that's publishing cards directly in the country, and they're organizing the events, and that means they have a local organizer, and that makes it much easier to organize those big events. And then Japan is just like a great tourist place too, even though it is extremely expensive. I think something is going to happen. Japan. They want it to be successful there. Of course, they're going to do a big event that gets maybe even get some news coverage.
World's location.
Maybe not next year.
No, just in general.
We are 100% going to see a calling in Japan next year, though.
You think we'll have a ninja focus set?
We're going to have a calling in Japan next year.
We'll have a ninja focus set and time it around that. So get very deep into Chinese and Japanese themed cards.
Right. Yeah, that would be really cool. Having a Mysteria focused set right around the same time we get to a tier 3 event in Japan, that would be poetic in my opinion.
It's the long game. It's very much a long game by LSS. It would be quite genius. They're good at doing that. Like the next Worlds will be around bright lights and stuff.
Oh my god, that was so cheeky, dude.
When James White spoils the name.
Just outright spoils the name, and nobody knows it. It'll be in a city with bright lights. Okay, that was a weird way to say it. Do you mean the city of bright lights? Do you mean Paris? No. Yeah, we learned that after the fact. That was so cheeky.
It's
I loved
fun. They do fun stuff.
Do we want to?
James White is so smart, man. That dude is. He is so intelligent. Did you guys get a chance to go back and listen to the rest of that interview with him and Flake?
I did.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched the rest of it today. Yeah.
There is so much cool stuff coming, and I feel so good about the future of Flesh and Blood in the hands of James White and the crew that he is developing over at LSS. They are knocking it out of the park. I feel so confident in the future of this game because he is doing such a great job with everything that every decision that he's making. I mean, there's a lot of complaints about Warmonger's diplomacy and some other power cards. Everybody crying for bans about Lexi wanting to get touched, but those people know what they are doing. They absolutely know what they're doing over there.
And speaking of that, we're getting into spoiler season now, so we can kind of segue into spoiler season. I think we could just dodge the drama that happened at the UK Nats and move on to spoiler season. Let's keep it positive.
Fair enough.
So Brian Gottlieb, I'm saying keep it positive, and now I'm going to say a tweet that Brian Gottlieb put out. He put out, this isn't verbatim, but it's like a new record. It took less than an hour for someone to tweet at how much they're trying to ruin my class or whatever about the newest card that came out in the spoiler.
Yeah.
So like Brian is another person in LSS's employee who helped. He's like he's lead designer, I think is his actual title.
I don't know what his official title
or
is.
Senior designer, maybe senior designer. But he helps
card game designer and developer, something like that.
And make cards. So he gets a lot of flack when people don't like a card or they think a card is too strong. So it's like if the card is too weak, he gets flack. If the card is too strong, he gets flack. If the card is milk toast, then he doesn't get any interaction at all. So it's like only negative interaction, right? No, that's not true.
But yeah, the card that we're talking about was spoiled by Savage Lands News today on their YouTube channel. It's Smashing Performance. It is a yellow pitch, 3-cost, 6 attack that reads, when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a card at random. If a card with 6 or more power is discarded this way, destroy a random item in the arena. One of the things that I've seen a lot of complaints about is that this card has no number in the bottom right corner. It's a non-block.
It's another non-block. So yeah. I play a lot of Brute, so I could kind of comment. There is already a similar card to this mechanic out, and that's Shadow of Blasphemous. And that is a 2 for 6 red, no block, that says draw a card, discard a card, 6 or more, search your deck for a card with blood debt, and put it into your banish zone. So kind of the same thing, but with a different end effect. This one is at least yellow, as opposed to Shadow of Blasphemous, which is red. Meaning if you put 2 of them in your deck and you draw 2 of them at the same time, you could at least play one with the other. So it does have some improvement there. I think the card is fine. I think it's a little crazy that it's doesn't block, and it draws and then discards, and it's a random item that it destroys. That's a little rough. I like it, and if Mechanologist is strong and I'm playing Brute, it's going in the deck. The card, if it hits, is absolutely insane value.
What do you mean if Mechanologist is strong? We're getting an entire Mechanologist set with over 250 cards.
I mean, we got a Shadow and Light set. Where Shadow and Light set. Where's the Shadow and Light?
Hey, I'm playing Vincent every week. Thank you.
I mean, I think part of the problem too is there's already. I mean, I guess at least it swings for 6, right? There's Arg Smash, right, which is going to kill an item already, and it blocks for 3.
No,
and it's
it does not necessarily kill an item. It kills an item equal to your D6 roll rounded down, and does nothing else.
So it can miss.
It can miss. Shadow of Blasphemous. I mean, not Shadow of Blasphemous. Smashing Performance will hit for 6, and it puts a card into the graveyard. If you're playing Levia, graveyard fill is fantastic.
Well, I'm just saying, which Mechanologist is going to be heavy in the set, so it makes sense that they're giving you an actual way of dealing with an item, I guess, other than I'm saying Arc Smash, but like, it does feel kind of bad that you have opposite end of the spectrum, right? One doesn't hit anything, one hits but doesn't block.
The reason why I say that I think it's actually quite good is that we already run Shadow Blasphemous at some, and the reason we don't usually run more than 1, sometimes 2, is because they can't play each other. So if you draw them in the same hand, you kind of just die. You got non-blocks that can't play each other. This card is different because you play it on the first turn, and if you're playing against Dash and she starts with Tekla Pounder or Induction Chamber, you played it on your first turn, that card is getting like 12 points of value if it hits, and is fueling your graveyard. So imagine playing against Dash, who's probably going to aggro into you because she's going to have a hard time dealing with how Levia can consistently put out 12, right? And she's going to go, okay, I'm going to go boost. And she starts with Tekla Pounder, and you go, okay, turn 1, slap down smashing performance, destroy your Tekla Pounder, and swing for 6. 12 points of value right off the bat. So that's the reason why the card doesn't block. It's the value ceiling is so high that an item took the Mechanologist, usually took the Mechanologist their entire action point. It took a pitched card and the card itself. So if you kind of put all those things together, you're looking at around 6 to 9 points of value invested by themselves to do it. And you nix that with one card. That also does 6. That's why it doesn't block. So it can't.
I mean,
block.
as long as it doesn't whiff, because you can carefully sculpt your hand to, discard your guaranteed 6, but then you're drawing a card off the top of the deck and then discarding a random card. So you're not 100% guaranteed to hit that every time.
The one nice thing about it though is that you don't have to keep a big hand to play it. If it's discard first, then draw a card, that means it'll be a cost.
It's not. It's when
It's
this attacks,
first.
draw a card and then discard.
I'm just saying the small advantage. I like to try to set up my hand where I do the discard first so I can get rid of the randomness, but not every card can be as good as Savage Feast.
Well, I don't think this is a bad card. I've seen a lot of flack online saying that this is a bad card, whining and complaining already, but I like it. I think it's going to be good, especially with the mech set coming out. I mean, there's a lot of incentive to play more item hate going forward.
I also play Dash, and this card makes me Rhinar is already a miserable matchup for Dash. Absolutely miserable. This, because he could either fatigue you if you try to boost, or he could just like, oh, you're going to put your gun together? Well, I'm going to go get a perfect Blood Rush Bellow hand and just blow your home up. And then, oh, you're trying to block out and outvalue me? I'm going to intimidate all your cards away and kill you. Yeah, that Dash is such a miserable matchup. This makes Dash versus Rhinar just seems unwinnable, honestly.
Maybe at face value now, but we don't know what we're getting in Dust.
We don't know.
In Bright Lights.
We just don't know the power ceiling yet of Mechanologist. That item hate might be an evil that needs to be had to have a chance. You know what I mean? Like this is probably going to be a card you're going to not necessarily be forced to run, but be forced to run against that matchup. Like you're going to have it in your sideboard, or it's going to be a used card.
Well, I mean, it's a 6 as well for Brute, whereas our Arc Smash is not a 6. So it doesn't.
It's a 6.
Sure, it doesn't junk up your deck.
It's yellow. Let's be real. I think it being yellow is actually. I mean, it's a claw swing. Right?
Yeah, it swings a claw. Mm-hmm. And plays itself. If you draw 2 of them, it plays itself.
Well, no, because it costs 3.
Oh, it costs 3. I thought it cost 2.
No, it costs 3.
Okay.
But it still swings the claw, which I think is totally okay.
Oh man, the costing 3 makes it hurt a little bit more because it can't play itself.
It's an investment. Yeah, it's no go again. I mean, but the value for it you're going to get, like you said, blowing up the item is worth it.
Let's go again. You roll Scabs first. That way you can swing claws after because you discarded a 6, right?
Not guaranteed. Go again.
Okay. So as far as spoiler season goes, if people go to February, they could actually look at the entire spoiler season schedule. They don't have to comb through all of Twitter. So if you go to February and click Bright Lights at the top, there's a tab for spoiler schedule. Tomorrow we get Mara's card. It is a Draconic card that has go again, and keeping with the theme of the first card, it has no block either.
And we know it's not an attack because it also doesn't have an attack value.
It's true. Please don't be something else like Lost in Thought.
As a Draconic action, that would restrict it to Phi, Dromai, and the Emperor. So maybe another Lost in Thought wouldn't be too bad.
You got to be careful about how many Lost in Thought cards you print. That card is already so great. I mean, yes, it's giving the Ponder token back, but the the ability to sculpt your entire turn off of knowing what your opponent has is just absolutely it's unbeatable. I mean, think of Thoughtseize and Magic.
What
It's insane.
what is a card that would work for both Phi and Dromai that does not have an attack or defense? It has go.
It's just some kind of a starter. Could be something like your next Draconic costs one. I mean, just it could be anything. Could be anything that lets you play a red card to start. Dromai's have, you know, or some
just
kind
be
of
a
resource dump.
Because it is just a Draconic action. It's not going to be a Draconic Illusionist or Draconic Ninja. It is just Draconic. So it's not going to have anything to do with Ash, probably nothing specifically to do with dragons.
And Pump isn't that good for Phi either because it doesn't extend his chain.
Right.
So it makes me wonder what it's going to be. I'm pretty enthusiastic about this card. I have a completed Dromai deck. I could switch over to the Cult of Dromai at any point.
Well, she also laid out a couple of other teasers saying that she thought this card may be as good or better than Chromai. And Chromai is one of the best cards in the deck. So if Mara Ferris is giving this card that level of praise, that's big. That is really big.
Is it like
what if it's an Ash? What if it's an Ash dump for action points? No, because that'd be kind of crazy. You don't need that.
What would Phi use with an extra action? Let's guess Snatch, right? You get to throw Snatch for free.
Yeah.
The fact that she said Chromai, though, it makes me think it's going to give an action point.
I mean, that's what.
I think she was more just saying is that power level.
The power level.
Power level. Okay.
Well, the power level has so much vagueness to it that you could just speculate anything that could be. You know, that's hard. But if it's, I don't know. I don't know how close she wants us to read into that. Do you know what I mean? If it's action point related or not, or if it's like, I don't know.
Well, we are doing exactly what she wants right now. We're speculating and driving ourselves crazy trying to figure it out.
Hey,
that's the point of spoiler season.
The best part is that from like some of the earlier like notes that she was putting out is that she didn't think it was super good, and then like it quickly like changed. Like, no, wait a minute, this is actually going to be one of the best. Like, right, so it seems like something that has a great fit. And she said Empress, like, so.
So
I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, so tomorrow's Mara, and then I'm not familiar with Mitch Leslie, but Mitch will be doing a reveal on Friday. Red Zone Road on Saturday. I imagine maybe that's an assassin card. Or Plague Hive might get the assassin card.
Plague Hive will get the assassin card.
Yeah, that's on September 10th. Eric Lundquist on September 11th. DM Armada on September 12th. Josh Law on September 13th. So maybe another warrior card. Lau, sorry. Majin Bay on September 14th. Team Covenant on September 15th. And then the hero reveals will be on September 16th and September 17th. So
that's gonna be great.
Max Ferocity of cosplay fame. She's the Dash cosplayer,
herself.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yep. Dash herself.
She'll be doing the hero reveal. White. It'll probably be Dashio.
Probably.
So, yeah, probably.
That's my guess.
And then
that would be a good assumption.
And then I think 3 floating will probably get the yet to be revealed hero because we've already seen Tech Love Us in the initial spoiler.
My speculation for that is it's going to be a data doll because one of the other things that we've seen is the new art for a data doll variant. Don't know if that's going to be an adult hero or not, but that's my take.
It could
I think it's going to be an adult data doll.
It could be a specialization to try to make data doll not terrible. But it also could be a data doll demi hero and not even one of the heroes.
I think it's just going to be a hero, right? We need the item, or do we think Dash is going to be the item? Because I think Dash is going to be boost, right?
Dash is going to be boost.
Right. So then it's item. It could be an adult data doll, and here we go.
It's hard to tell because Dashio is a new hero, right? And we already have the item dash.
Why give Brute a smash?
Well, no, there's going to be lots of items, and we don't know where they're going to go.
You're right with data doll.
Tons. Yeah, and a hero data doll.
James White that said that data doll is going to be good. If you've been a data doll fan in Blitz, your time is coming. Was that him that said that in the interview, or who was that said the data doll is going to be good?
Come on, demi hero.
Somebody did say that recently.
Demi hero that gets her to 4 intellect somehow. Or an item that gives +1 intellect that is a data doll specific specialization.
Is it the 4 intellect that really hurts her though?
Yeah. Every turn cycle you lose 3 health because you have one less card than your opponent. So you're basically you have 3 blood debt forever. That's why she's bad. And her hero power wants her to go wide. How do you go wide with only 3 cards? And if you drew items, it's even worse. So it's
well, you got a whole new set to fix all those problems.
yeah. I like Data Doll. I think I have her deck ready to go. It's just she's a meme. Like at the moment, she's a meme.
She's on the Living Legend leaderboard though. She does have points.
She got either 1 or 2 points.
2 points. She's got 2.
Okay. I think our last topic maybe is that ProQuest is like officially announced now.
Yeah, we were talking about ProQuest earlier and just completely neglected to say that yes, they have officially been announced. The formats are going to be Classic Constructed and Bright Lights Draft. And geez, were you saying something, Noah?
No, I just said fun. It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And we know what the entry fees are for U.S. events are going to be. It's going to be capped at $35 for CC and $50 for draft. That's going to be great. The PQ season is going to run from Saturday, October 21st to Sunday, November the 5th, everywhere except for Australia. Australia is going to start on October 14th through November 5th, and that's going to be because of Calling Melbourne, which I think is going to be towards the end of that season. I'm not exactly sure of the date on Calling Melbourne. I should have looked that up, but I forgot.
Okay. Yeah, and so the one thing I found is interesting is it looks like it's using Dusk Till Dawn art for the promotional materials, even though it's going to be Bright Lights focused draft. I thought the marketing assets were interesting, unless I'm wrong and that's not a Dusk Till Dawn card. It's an angel. This is one of the figments, right?
I'm not looking at it. I don't know.
It's angel holding like judgment scales. I think that's pretty sure it's one of the figments. I just thought it was a weird choice, considering that we're already moving on from the Monarch Limited season.
Thankfully.
Which was fun, but good riddance. I'm really, really excited for the Mechanologist Limited.
It's gonna have
fun, or was it fine?
I thought it
drafting
was fun.
miserable. Playing the games fantastic. All the games felt like real games when I played them, but the drafting always like stressed me out. The like first 2 times I drafted, I think I did awful, and I was playing with cracked baubles in my deck, and like I lost because of the baubles. They killed me.
That never feels good.
That does not feel good. But the games, I think the 4 heroes in Monarch were really well balanced. Like the games end up pretty fun. There's this potential for high roll. There's potential for long drawn out games where you deck each other out. Pretty good. So yeah, I think it's pretty exciting. We'll have a lot to talk about next week because we'll have like 7 spoiler cards.
Oh, there's going to be so much good things.
And a wrap up of Nationals.
Yep.
We'll get to see where the points distribute. Talk about the ProQuest, what the possibilities are. And we can start making Worlds predictions too, because I feel like we'll have a good idea of what heroes are going to be available in Worlds, minus the Bright Lights ones. Actually, we'll know 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I need to retract something I said last week when I said that Phi was going to win Worlds. I no longer think that's going to be the case. Now that we know for sure that ice is still going to be legal at Worlds, I don't think Phi is going to get there.
If Icelander does really well this weekend and picks up some points, she could leave, but we've already seen that she hasn't been performing the same way she does.
Right.
I think Lexi will win Worlds.
Yeah, me too. I just think the higher tier players are going to be on Lexi.
There's going to be a bigger number of Lexi players, so I think that plays into it as well. And I just think that there's going to be Lexi at the end of the road.
And I think there's just not enough time between Bright Lights releasing and Worlds that decks for Mechanologist will be solved to be able to approach efficiency that Lexi.
Well, we're gonna have about 6 weeks worth of time
I was
for
gonna say,
everybody to test and prep.
unless something crazy comes out. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a hard prediction to make now. We might have to wait till mech gets
we
unveiled.
get a Dusk Blade in our Mechanologist set equivalent that that doesn't
no.
get banned.
No, ain't no way. There was one thing that I did want to touch on the PQ season stuff before we move on, wrap up, whatever. If a player has won an invitation to the Pro Tour by winning a Pro Quest, if they win another one, that invitation is going to pass down to the second place player. So you're not going to be able to just stack up wins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can win the gold foil by taking first place.
Oh, that's something to note too. A non-legendary gold foil.
Yeah, but the invitation is going to move down to second place. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't think that's the way it has been up to this point. So that felt notable to me.
That is nice, though, that you can't just continuously rack them up. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's...
Yeah.
Like, it did feel bad in RTNs to reach top 8, and then the top 4 are the ones that get the Nationals invites. And, like, there would be multiple players that already had Nationals in that top 4. That was a really feels bad moment that happened on, like, a lot of the RTNs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can...
Not that we had a lot of RTNs in Georgia. There was like, what, 3?
But even the
total?
few that were there, like, that happened. So you get into this situation that either one, you've got like RTN invites that don't get given out, or 2, people punt games in the top 8 to let the people who haven't gotten an RTN get one. Neither of those are good for like the game as kind of like a sport.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, and I like the one detail you mentioned, the cold foil. That the winners, though, there is an incentive to win over and over again, even if you don't get additional invites or anything. And that's like you get a non-legendary gold.
Yep.
So that's pretty exciting too.
Which is what, $300 to $500, depending on what it is.
Depending on what it is.
Yep. Yeah, it could be anything. I mean, just non-legendary means there's a multitude of options.
Yeah, up to Majestic, right?
Yeah,
so
up to
it
Majestic.
could be a gold foil Courage, which I'd be all right with that. Go ahead and just add me, find me. I want that.
You got your like gold, even your commons. Some of them are really great. Like, how cool would it be to get like a gold foiled Nord?
That'd be cool.
They're used in so many decks, right?
Oh, gold foil snaps, I'd be all right with. And I would play with gold foil snatches too. Why not? That sounds
gold foil
great.
Snatch.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, gold foil snatch. Play
a cold foil snatch out of a judge pack, if that's a thing. That would be cool. Like the cold foil.
Yeah,
pummels.
season 2 judge.
Those are beautiful.
Yeah, season 2 judge packs. You never know what's gonna get introduced into the market now, because the judge packs do have some interesting cold foil cards.
Gold it. I don't just shiny snatch.
Right. So I think that's it for this week. Anyone got any closing remarks?
No. Thomas, where can people find you?
They could find me right now. I don't really populate the Twitter very much, so just find me on Discord. I'm on pretty much all of the Flesh and Blood Discords right now as Wet the System, or I have my actual real name, which is Thomas. You can find me. I'm very active in the League of Leviah in Mansense channel, and I'll pop up occasionally in TCG Discord and the
card
Flesh and Blood
guys.
Discord. The card guys Discord. I want to say the card guys. Noah?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you can find me on Big Max on Discord. I do have a Twitter, but it's mainly for streaming right now, which is not Flesh and Blood related, at least not until the end of February. But it is at Loot So Heavy, and that's also where I stream out on Twitch. Sometimes it's Flesh and Blood, but I'll let you guys know when it's going to be more Flesh and Blood oriented.
Okay. You can find me on Discord, Twitter, most of the social medias as Draco Hominis 87. Specifically, check out the articles that I write for fabric.gg. Also a great website just to use in general when you're trying to make a deck. It is fabrec.gg. I write the Fab Dead series. I wrote a coverage article for Calling Birmingham and Nats, and I'm going to be doing them for Tier 3 events going forward. So if you're interested in written content for Flesh and Blood, look me up on Fabric.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed catching up with this week. And if you did, please help the algorithm. Leave a like and a comment on the video. And this is a brand new podcast. This is our episode 2. So any engagement is going to help us out.
Please.
Yeah, if you don't want to miss future casts, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell down below on the little YouTube thing. That way you don't have to worry about the algorithm. Until then, take care of yourself, guys. Well, we'll see you in episode 3. We love everyone in the community. This is just a great community. And just remember, we're all siblings in cardboard.
We are. Discard your cards.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.